Got a little late night episode from Swamp Stories, dealing with it's called the Zone versus the Mac, the Fillmore split. So this should be a little interesting video. I ain't gonna lie, but and I did see niggas in the comment section like, oh, is he from Frisco? No, I'm not from Frisco, nigga. Shout out my nigga Dwayne Pope too. You understand me? It's my nigga. You understand me? But yeah, I'm gonna get into this video from Swamp Stories real quick. Y'all niggas hold.
Welcome back to another episode of Swamp Stories. First of all, thank you guys so much for all the support, and make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. For this episode, we head to the Fillmore district of San Francisco, an area once called the Harlem of the West for its jazz clubs and thriving businesses. People would come from all over the country to have fun in the Fillmore. The area was fast growing with hundreds of successful black businesses and new home ownership. The thriving community would not last long though.
President Truman takes another step forward in the emergency housing program as he signs a bill authorizing the appropriation of an additional $250 million for the construction of 100,000.
Hey, that's one thing I like about Swamp Stories though, is how you give you like the history of the neighborhood too. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Swamp Stories. I'm gonna keep it lit.
Housing units.
Everything would change in 1949. President Truman, along with San Francisco's Mayor Elmer Robinson, classified the Fillmore district as the slums. They decided that the neighborhood needed their help to provide affordable housing. Well, somehow they had the rights to take over all of these homes and businesses, and they had no mercy at all. They would remove thousands of residents from their homes against their will, and they told them they had to live across the bridge in Oakland. They bulldozed nearly the entire Fillmore district in 1 year. All the jazz clubs, shoe stores, record stores, repair shops that were owned and operated by the community were gone just like that. The city built endless units of public housing, and when the residents returned from Oakland, most of them would decide not to come back. Their businesses were gone, and their beautiful homes were turned into projects. It was just too much to handle for many residents. Others had no choice but to return. The neighborhood had changed into something completely different. It became dark, and it had a new element that was not there before. The criminal element quickly took over the Fillmore district, and it divided a once unified neighborhood. Fillmore Street became the divider between two rival sections, Uptown and Downtown. But then, over the years, it became divided even further. There grew to be about 10 sections, each representing their specific project. Today though, we focus on two rival sections. Let me introduce you to the Hayes Valley projects, once called Death Valley. This project was once one of the most dangerous in the city.
They know we're here, so everything's gonna look real quiet, See? My little brother right there, he's come walking out of there. He knows he don't belong in there. A lot of them do come to the projects to do business, crimes, they come there. And our job is to get these people that don't live in the complex out of there.
A return visit to the empty apartment at the Hayes Valley projects for some unfinished business.
Yeah, one's running down right now, wearing white pants and brown jacket.
I usually tell folks, a driddle's kind of our edge.
Hayes Valley used to call themselves Page Street Mob back in the day. One of their top dogs was just 17 years old. His name is Dennis Cyrus, and he made his name in the streets after catching 3 bodies in August 2002. Page Street became feared, and things got really bad. So bad that SF dropped an indictment on the whole project and took them down. That would happen after a bad incident. July 11th, 2010. A man named Lee Farley would be at a nightclub in San Francisco. That's when he would get a call from a friend. This so-called friend would tell him to meet him outside the club. So Lee Farley would walk outside. But his friend was not there. Instead, there was a rival. Before he could even move, the man approaches him and BAM! So let's fast forward. These days, the area is very different. You could live in the Fillmore district and have no idea you live in the hood. Seriously, you would have no idea. Incredible amounts of Starbucks drinkers will be found walking down the streets, these same streets that 10 years ago they wouldn't dare walk down. Many of the original projects have been rebuilt over the years, and the neighborhood looks completely different. That being said, the streets are still active. In particular, the Hayes Valley projects have been making noise for the past decade, but not for the right reasons. That brings me to the rivals. Let me introduce you to McAllister Street, also known as the Mac. The Mac is located just 2 blocks down the street from the Hayes Valley projects. This is actually where Steelers running back Najee Harris grew up before moving out to Antioch. Anyways, this Fillmore District rivalry started back up around 2012, and it's been up ever since. Hayes Valley versus the Mac. But before we get into it, let me run the intro. The Mac Block vs. Hayes Valley rivalry took off after April 13th, 2012. Let me introduce you to a 17-year-old named Jaquan Morton, also known as Glue. He's from the Hayes Valley projects, which by then they call the Zone. Well, Glue had gotten into arguments with the guys from the Mac Block, but at this time they were not rivals yet. The Mac would change that on the evening of April 13th, 2012. Glue would be hanging out in the Bayview district on Palouse Avenue. That's when a car pulls up and BAM! The Mac wouldn't be done though. October 14th, 2012, a 23-year-old Hayes Valley man named Marcus Spruell, also known as Marty, would be hanging outside the Hayes Valley projects. That's when a man creeps from around the corner and BAM! After these losses, Hayes Valley rapper Paper Chase Mees and his friends would start calling themselves GMG. This stands for Glue Marty Gang, to commemorate the 2 friends that they lost. On the other side, the Mac is happy to have scored twice, and they start calling themselves The Blow. Well, that being said, a couple years go by and Hayes Valley has not gotten revenge. But that would all change on a cold January night. January 9th, 2015, 10 p.m. A group of 4 Mac Block teenagers would be in a stolen car lurking around Hayes Valley. They were allegedly in the process of trying to score again, but Hayes Valley was alerted of their presence. That's when a man goes out to see who's in the car. He sees who it is and BAM! He absolutely fans the car out, GTA style. The Mac would lose 4 people in one moment, and this would be a big deal in the community.
The 4 men killed in a drive-by Friday night in San Francisco were remembered tonight. Night Beat's Andrea Borba was at the memorial in Hayes Valley. Andrea?
Well, Veronica, there was a large police presence out here tonight, both out here at the crime scene and at the community center, because there was concern about a retaliation.
My nephew that was just killed was not a thug. He was not a gangster. He's just somebody that made a mistake and made a decision to do something that he shouldn't have done.
They don't have hope. Some of them are lost and they need us.
In the shadow of the Candlelight Memorial, though, this message was found slipped underneath windshield wipers. 4 honored by the African American community. Are you kidding me?
Although the parents would plead that their sons were not members and that they were just good kids, the streets knew a different story, and this act was not random.
Hey, I done lost a brother to this shit, bro. Blood brother, nigga. RP Manny, nigga. RP all my thugs, nigga. Bo, Yolani, Beefy, RP my niggas, man. They died trying to up the scope. You feel me? This will come with it, bro. This will come with this shit, bro.
About a year later, an arrest was made. A man named Lee Farley Jr. was arrested for it. He was the son of Lee Farley, who died in 2010. He would do what is called Swiss cheesing a car. That's when you leave so many holes in it that it looks like Swiss. Yeah, you guys get it. I didn't have to explain that. Well, Hayes Valley rappers would brag about the incident.
They say they took 1, we took 4. Watch how we come get some more. GMG shit, bitch, my squad really run them all.
Hayes Valley would lose a block legend on August 28, 2017. A man named LeVar Watkins, also known as Valley Var, would be in the Tenderloin. That's when a car would pull up beside him and BAM! On a positive note for Hayes Valley, 2017 would also bring along a new rapper. He went by Heavy Baby. He's a younger brother of Glue, who passed away in 2012. Well, the 16-year-old would bring new energy to the Fillmore, but he would also diss the Mac. Heavy Baby is on Grand Avenue in Oakland with his friends. That's when a car pulls up and BAM! The 17-year-old's passing would be a big deal in the Bay Area, and his cousin would make a song to commemorate him. March 23rd, 2019. It was a day of sorrow and celebration. That's because it was the day of the funeral of a legendary Fillmore man named Ronnie New. It was a huge funeral, and most of the Fillmore neighborhood would attend. In fact, there were quite a few celebrities at the event as well. Well, at this event, both the Mac and the Zone would be in attendance. During the reception, a man named Mr. Simmons would get into an argument with two Mac Block members, Robert Manning and Jabari Coates. They would go to their car to grab something, and when they came back into the funeral, Simmons would be standing right there at the door. BAM! Simmons would let it rip, but the Mac was ready and they quickly hit back. Manning and Coates would let off. They hop back in the car and they take off. They get away, but then they notice that Harrison was hit, so he gets dropped off at a hospital, and that's when the two would get arrested. Unfortunately, Mr. Simmons would not make it. After camera footage revealed that it was self-defense, the charges would be dropped. The Zone and Mac rappers have been dissing each other ever since.
These clown niggas down the street be on some hoe shit, look. Blow this, blow that, y'all just be flogging for these hoes, nigga. Y'all mans a rat, y'all still fucking with them. Man, y'all some cold niggas. The ops still dissing Casey, them like Ray Charles. Speaking on my dead homie.
Hey, if you want to see the last little 1 minute and 30 seconds of this video, go tap into Swamp Stories. But like I was saying earlier, man, I got like a special spot in my heart for Frisco, man, because, you know, niggas have made a lot of money in Frisco, nigga. I got a lot of, you know, real niggas from Frisco that I'm tapped in with for sure. And like I said, I was just out there the other day, like, you know, on the block with them niggas, man, in Fillmore too, nigga, chilling at the McDonald's, right? And you know, it was a few real niggas out there that were just telling me like that some nigga did just get knocked down over there, like right up the street from the McDonald's, like the day before that or whatever the case is. But I was over there for like a couple of hours, you know, chopping game with my nigga, and you know, just doing this, that, and the third. But this was a cool little video and some cool insight on what's going on in Frisco. Although them niggas like in Frisco, it's like them niggas really be like they keep they they keep their politics out of, you know, the way of, you know, basically like the tourist area, and you know, it's Gucci and everything. It's a mall down there. Them niggas do go shopping in this, that, and the third, and you will see, you know, a nigga with a ducktail in the mall, or, you know, in a nice area or whatever the case is. But for the most part, they be keeping, you know, that drama in their areas, which is a trip, because it's like, you know, it's fake way intertwined, like how he was explaining at the beginning of the video. But nigga, that's the end of this reaction. Y'all niggas let me know what y'all think down below in the comment section. Shout out Swamp Stories once again, man. It's gang.
What'd you say? I said whoever threw that paper, your mom's a hoe.